go.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jay Banks. Happy Friday.
Hey.
Man, it's almost Halloween, bro.
It is. It's flying up. October just is coming and going.
I know there's still like 10 or 12 like Halloween style movies I got to get in before the 31st, bro.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
We've got a special
movies.
episode, man. I'm really happy that we were able to connect with these guys. I've been staring at their faces for like the past 2 months because we've been printing all the merch for this movie.
Right.
So it's really cool that you guys are actually on the other side of the couch now, man. And I got to see a little teaser of what the movie's about to be, and it looks incredible, man. Like it's like a mystery movie. You know what I mean? But it's got Matt Rife in it, bro, which is it's crazy to think that you guys filmed this so long ago, and it's like you plucked him right out of the field, bro, and all of a sudden he's at the top of his game, which is cool to see. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the cameras over to the other side of the table, man, and go ahead and introduce yourselves, and we can go from there. Elliot, if you want to start off since you're on the left there.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Elliot. I'm an actor from Cincinnati. Currently in LA, but expanding my world into both. More than just Cincinnati and LA, everywhere, baby. But anyway, happy to be here. Thank you for having us. Really excited about what's going on. The Private Eye, like you mentioned, is gaining ground, traction, tons of love and support. And, we couldn't be happier with how it's working out. And now's the fun time, too. I mean,
for sure.
Been a lot of hard work, been a lot of stress, and just a lot of just hoops and loops we've had to get through. And not saying that the work's done, but can have a little fun with it now, too.
You can see the end, right? You can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Something physical, something they can see, something they can hold.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're just, blessed. Just blessed.
Absolutely, man. All right, man. Denzel, I know there's everyone out there probably already recognizes you, man. And that was one of those things. You've been acting since you were a kid, bro. Like, at Nickelodeon, all that. I saw that you were an extra in Training Day, and that was like kind of your big start, right? Because you ended up accidentally going from that extra, as an extra to like a featured role.
Yeah, exactly. No, that was my first role ever.
Oh, wow.
Training Day at the age of 10.
Holy cow.
You definitely nailed the pathway. It wasn't supposed to be a leading role. Accidentally said a few words. Next thing you know, I get my first SAG credit, and that's now on my resume as Dimitri.
That's awesome, bro.
That was the beginning
so you accidentally said words? Like, what happened? Like, how'd that go down?
I mean, because as a background actor,
sure.
you're not supposed to be verbal.
For sure.
You're just there to lend and, of course, to be a body. So I was technically a featured extra. But, Denzel and I had early on that day gained a rapport. He came up to me. It's like, so here we got the same name.
That's awesome.
Here he is with a briefcase. The armorer comes over, hands him his 2 guns that he wears throughout the whole entire scene. So he's sitting there clicking the guns together. He's like, yeah, man, my name's Denzel. How'd you get your name? And as we're doing the scene, he's like, hey, Dimitri, is anybody back there? So he's asking me questions in the scene, and again, I don't have the rule book for acting. Nobody told me yes or no, so I'm just responding to him naturally.
Right.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, my parents are getting a call from the producers. They're like, hey, so seems like your son has said a few words. No problem at all, but we just have to raise his pay, and of course now he's considered an actual featured talent.
Oh,
that's incredible, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, so like. Is that breaking rules? Is it because you're talking to now? You're like
they'll definitely get upset with extras if you're being out of line, for sure.
Look, if it was not the film of Training Day, if it was not the director of Antoine Fuqua and the production team that was behind it, let that be a smaller budget film, and now all of a sudden these numbers look different,
right?
Because those are numbers they didn't necessarily account for. And as a young actor, you have to be Taft-Hart lead, which means that, they have to go ahead and put in your SAG papers to be like, hey, now he should be considered as a professional working actor. So it is a bit of a process on the back end that, of course, if it's not a much bigger production, they don't necessarily account for things like that.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
All right, man. Let's get over to Hope, bro.
What up? What up?
What's cracking, man?
What's happening?
I feel like we've known each other for 10 years already.
Yeah, man. We vibing, man. What's up?
For sure, bro. For sure. Whenever you want to come back to the city, man, we need to start a clothing brand with your face on it, bro.
Hey, when I walked in here, I seen it. I said we got to do some work, outside of the private eye for sure.
I'm here, man. Whatever you
I'll
need
be
to
back.
That's for sure.
I'll be back. I'm gonna hold you to that too.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold you to that.
So you're the producer of the entire film, man. And
I actually wrote the movie with Jack and Patrick Rose as well, and Rose.
Oh, that's incredible, dude. All right. And so how long have you known Jack?
I've known Jack since I want to say 2016 when I first jumped in the industry.
Okay.
Yeah, we was on a set. Speaking of extras and whatnot, that's how I got my start. We was on a set of a period piece. I can't remember what project because, as we spoke, off camera, they become a blur, especially when you're not speaking.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I met Jack on set, and he just had this energy. He said he's from Ohio. My whole mom's side of the family's from Ohio, Akron to be exact. So I just mesh well with anybody from Ohio.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, met Jack 2016, and we started our first project in 2017. That was Shootouts.
That's awesome, man. And I was trying to figure this out because I was talking to Andrew, and it's like, man, for somebody like Jack that directs everything, and like once it's all said and done, it goes into somebody else's hands completely, right? And it's like you guys have to have a great relationship in order for you to see his vision and for him to see your vision and for all that to come together because, once his job is done, it's like I was telling him, it's basically like me designing a shirt and then sending it off to a silk screener hoping that they print it the way that I want it done, right?
Exactly.
And so obviously it makes sense now that I see that you guys had, 8 years of friendship before the whole thing, man.
Yeah,
and obviously when you're writing it together, you guys got those same visuals happening.
Yeah, Jack has this saying since I've met him. He says, hey, Hope, we don't do business, we make friends. And it's kind of stuck with me ever since then because it's facts. That's what we have entertainment lawyers for. That's what the agents are for. They can handle the business, but our jobs is not only to build a rapport and a friendship, that in the community, but it's also kind of getting long-winded here, but it's also just for us to stay together and stay down.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So yeah, shout out to Jack.
Yeah, man, he's the man, dude. I like I said, I didn't know him before you guys contacted me to do the clothes, and then once he came in, it was just same thing, man. It's just like you kind of hit it right off the bat. Like Jack's one of those dudes where it's friendship, not business, and again, that makes sense, man.
And like you said, sorry to cut you off. Like you said, you kind of want to or you kind of want to just mesh with who you're going to be around. It takes anywhere from a year to 3 years with these movies, especially independent films. So you definitely don't want to, be annoyed by somebody like a Denzel or Elliot. You kind of just want to love the people you work with, and these are like brothers to me.
You see how he pointed to us? I saw what you trying to say, Hope? we only on day 2 of this trip. Say less, bro.
A long way to go, right?
Yeah.
But it's real. I mean, not to cut you guys off either, but on a film set, when it's a bunch of your friends already, you're natural together, you're comfortable, joking around, but also getting the business and the work done. That's where the magic happens, is on a set.
Yeah.
For sure.
So if everyone's there, enjoying themselves, happy to be there, and just natural with it, organic, I mean, man, it's amazing what can happen.
That's when the magic happens, for sure,
Exactly.
man. You know, we have a saying here. It's high tides rise all ships, right? So like you're only as weak as your low branch, but you know if you can get everybody up on that level, man, and find your seat at the table, and that that's something where did you want to be a producer, or did it kind of just fall into that role when Jack wanted to try to direct?
No, it just happened. I mean, nothing is by accident, you know, when it's God's timing and it's God's plan. But I got into this industry by accident. It's not like I, had aspirations to be in Hollywood or anything. I went to school for business, and the entertainment industry just kind of fascinated me, and I jumped in. But to answer your question, going into the producer, I'm a writer first, and I knew I was writing so many dope stories. And then I'm meeting people like Denzel and, Patrick Walkers and just so many great talent. And I'm like, wait, you have dope stories. So, okay, we all have dope stories, but now where's the person who's trying to help everyone tell the stories? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of competition in the ways. People try to one-up each other in LA all the time. So I wanted to be the guys to be like, damn, how do I bring Denzel together? How do I bring Patrick? How do I bring Brandon Brown? Like, how do I bring all these dope thespians together for these dope projects for the future? You know what I mean?
For sure.
So that's what really drew me into being a producer, is just being able to call on my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. That's
So
great that you did.
Denzel, man, like, what did you because you've got a lengthy resume already. Like, you've been doing this since you were a kid, and so like, what drove you to put your eggs into Hope and Jack's basket, man? Was it just that, like, that feeling that Jack gives you, like, when you meet him? You know what I mean? Like, where you're like, all right, dude, I'll bet on this pony. You know what I mean?
Well, I think easily what Hope and Elliot were just talking about is, again, you want to work with your friends.
Yeah.
You want to work with people who you genuinely get along with and who you believe in each other's visions. So speaking of what Hope was just kind of talking about, is everybody has a role to facilitate in Hollywood. And it's about, like, what is your superpower? For me, me and Hope, we basically met. We were just talking about this on this trip. We met at a place called Earth Cafe out in L.A. in Hollywood.
Yep.
And so we just chopped it up. We had mutual friends. We sat down. We're sitting here talking scripts. But that often happens in L.A. is you sit down and you talk with somebody, and it's like, oh, man, great idea. So what are we going to do about it?
Right.
Yeah.
And you see it so many times, especially in the audition space as an actor. You walk into a place and it's like, oh, man, great to see you, blah, 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 man. Hey, if I don't get it, you get it. Cool, we going to link up, right? We going to have lunch. Lunch never happens.
Right.
And a couple years ago, I just got tired of saying that. And I was either like, yo, listen, man, I'll catch you on the next one, or when are we actually getting lunch? And so Hope is one of my guys where it was like, all right, well, let's actually sit down and get lunch. Let's put pen to paper.
The rubber to the road, yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
when he hit me up for the private eye, this was kind of 2020, still in the pandemic, still when lockdown was kind of lightening up, but nobody really knew how to return back to work. And I'm always just grateful for the opportunity to work with friends, let alone get a great script, let alone be surrounded by a great cast. And then, like you said, Jack with his infectious energy and learning, like, who are the key players of the project. I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are we doing? Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, say less, right?
So are we going to see more of you in Hope and Jack's movies, man?
Oh, 1,000%, and vice versa. I mean, Hope and I, we just finished putting a project together now called
Yes,
Brand
sir.
New.
Brand
So
New.
Hope is starring in it and producing it with us, and that's something that I wrote, directed, and starring in myself.
Oh, that's
So
awesome,
yeah,
man.
it's family. Once we get started, we keep going.
Hey, I know a guy that can print your merch if you need.
Oh, word.
Hey,
Let's go.
best
Hey,
person in
man,
town.
listen.
Let's go.
He
Make
has
it
a great
happen.
place, doesn't he? And a great podcast, too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we-
okay.
we're trying, bro. This is all YouTube University, man. This is where I like. Yeah, I started out with a 2-channel, just a smaller podcast, and then we just kept going from there, man. And it's, every time I need to learn something new, just hop on YouTube, figure it out, buy what I need, and then there you go.
Oh, that's the name of the game, man. That's how I literally got into my filmmaking career.
Oh.
YouTube University.
Yeah.
Look, I went maybe a few months to film school. And, I was like, oh, man, I'm going to spend all my money, go to USC, be a part of their filmmaking program. Mind you, again, this is a little bit of privilege, but I was already on set. I was working with Werner Herzog, Nicolas Cage at the time. And I was working on a film called Warrior with Gavin O'Connor. And both of those directors looked at me and they said, you're wasting your time.
Wow.
Don't go to school.
Yeah.
Pick up a fucking camera. Just hit the road. And it was one of those things where literally I right when I left high school, got a camera. I toured around with my buddy with a rock band called The Audition. And then we toured around with Jack's Mannequin. And
Oh,
this is
shit.
literally,
Oh, nice.
you guys know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah.
literally me in the back of a van just doing all their BTS, shooting stuff with them, shot a music video. And then my buddy Carlito started popping off, in the Latin American reggaeton space. And I started shooting all his content, and that's really how I got behind the camera as a director.
That's dope, man. If you see Jordan.
Yeah, there we go.
I know. Yeah. So it was Jack's Mannequin, and it was something corporate before that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That didn't sound good, did it? we've got that 7-Up door. I built that myself, man, with that stimulus check they gave us.
Fire.
So
That's fire.
yeah, that $1,400. I found that 7-Up vending machine in Dayton, Ohio. So I had a buddy grab it, brought it down here.
That's crazy.
I ripped the front of it off, and then I built a motor so that every time you step on the pressure pad, it pushes or pulls on that little barn door.
I love it.
That's so dope.
Every month or so we got to fix it, man, because there's somebody that comes in and just they walk in and everything's cool, but then they forget how to walk out, so they like try to Kool-Aid man their way through. Yeah, dude, it just like knocks it off track, and then we got to fix it.
What? Why?
Clean up on aisle 8.
You know what? I think it's such a wow factor when the 7-Up door opens that it's an all white room that you forget how you even got in there, right? And honestly, we've got a little smoke machine that billows in there too. So when you walk back out, like the smoke stays just in that room. So when you walk out, it almost feels like you're in a dream. Like what the hell was that, man?
Or UFO.
Yeah, dude. It's all there's all alien stuff back there, man. That's how we roll, bro.
It's very speakeasy vibes.
Yeah, dude. So we actually do some stuff. We had an artist here just 2 weeks ago who she does private events where she'll sell 30 shirts, and the shirt's got her album cover on it. On the back, it's got all the track listings, and then down on the corner we put her QR code that goes straight to her Spotify account, so you can start listening to her music right there.
Yeah.
But she'll sell 30 of those shirts, and then it's a private event. So then once all 30 shirts are sold, it's hey, down at the levee, inside a 7-Up door, inside a 7-Up machine at 7 p.m. So that's, and then we turn off the lights back there, and then she does like a little private event for just 30 people.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah, bro, it's cool,
on,
man. We're trying to.
Like it.
We're trying to make this place like interactive retail is what we're calling it, right?
Sure.
Because it's like, the malls are dying. It's like, the malls around here, there's no major like Abercrombie, like all those major stores, they're all leaving. So it's like, I'm trying to reinvent the wheel here, bro, by giving you an experience. And like I said, the clothes in the back room, you get half off for being in store for the experience. So that's why we're trying to, let the people in LA pay the $70 for the T-shirts, but if you come here and see it yourself, you'll get half off.
So for all people listening, come to the Native store, get your half off. You know what I'm saying? Let's spread that movement.
Hey,
We're
What you waiting for?
trying to put this product on the map. You feel
sir.
me? So
Yes,
online,
sir.
the street kids, when they trying to buy stuff, come on, get your 50% discount, all right? Shout out.
Hey, straight from Denzel Whitaker himself, man. That was a non-paid promotion too.
Right.
Let's go.
If you know, you know. That's kind
Right.
of where we're at with it. Yeah, man.
So the event that you guys got going on tonight.
Oh, yeah.
So on Island Illusions, you guys started out in LA, right?
Yes,
And
Illusion Islands, production company started in LA.
do I got dyslexia? Did I say that backwards?
Hey, it's all right. It's all an illusion
Islands.
anyway.
Right.
But yeah, we started back in LA, Jack and I, and then we have a third partner, Alex, with Illusion Islands. But Jack and I handle most of the creative, day-to-day hustle bustle, developing the relationships and just building it. And started it maybe back, I think 2018 was when we officially got our business license for it. And so right from the get-go, we just joined forces with other producers that would hire us to come in and film their project or even finish their projects, whatever it may be. But it didn't take long for us to realize, like, we need to do our own shit. And we had our own shit already working. I mean, The Private Eye's been 10 plus years at this point, and our next one, A Soda Squeeze, I mean, that one's pushing 6 years probably now.
I like the name of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're filming that one here actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think Jack might have told me a
Kentucky,
little
and then
something about it.
A little bit of Cincinnati too, but yeah. So just working with other people, it's great because you get to meet other filmmakers, other producers, other actors, just build your network. But it's hard when you don't have much control and the
For
final
sure.
say of things, and especially when you have a vision or you've kind of know the game a little bit and you try to advise certain people, because not everybody in the industry may be a filmmaker either. I mean, we've worked with people who just had a bunch of money and they just wanted to buy their way into being a producer, an executive producer.
For sure,
a
they just want their
director,
name on it,
And
yeah.
they would take every credit, hire people to do everything for them. But I mean, that can only go so far.
Right.
And
Sure.
especially if you're not willing to take anybody else's advice and, at least listen. It just gets frustrating after a while. So that we quickly realized we got to take things into our own hands and just work with the network that we already have, continue building friendships. But I mean, we've got great talent sitting right next to us.
And that's what I was gonna follow up with, man. It's like the creatives that you guys are and how young you guys are. Like, that's something that you guys should be building your own fort, right? And
Right.
like let these motherfuckers come to you guys, because I mean, you see how Adam Sandler does it, man. Like he keeps it all in house,
Yeah.
bro. And then
Yeah.
like all of his homies, they get paid every time. Like they all get residuals off everything. And
Yeah.
and I can see it with you guys, man. Like you guys are all young and hungry, and I think you're making a great move by taking the production company and bringing it to Cincy, because they give a lot of spiffs out for the Ohio film.
There's a lot, and especially Kentucky too. We're actually
They're willing to
we
give
got
you
the
spots.
the Kentucky State tax incentive. So that one, it's great. We get 30% back of all budget that we spend in Kentucky, and it's just a great incentive to bring the film world here. And I know that they took a hiatus from doing this, and now they're back in the game, and they were just great to work with. They were very one-on-one with us, and invited us to all of the
They want to
steps of
see
the
it happen, man.
process.
Cincinnati's great,
And
dude.
it's a horror film. It was funny
Well,
because
yeah.
when it went to the final decision in the court, and the judge she read the whole shebang that we presented
Oh,
for
yeah.
her, and she's just like, well, I definitely don't want to be cursed by this witch, so approved.
Ah,
Oh,
nice.
wow.
Oh yeah,
That's
when
cool.
she approved us, and we were
Yeah.
like, yeah.
What a moment. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
That's
there's
awesome.
some spots out here too in Kentucky and in Ohio, man, that are perfect for any type of setting, dude. Like, Paris, Kentucky is like 1920s. That's where they filmed Seabiscuit a lot of the shots, because the town there is so old that if you just brought a bunch of old cars down, it would look like you're living in the 20s. Or, there's Mansfield, Ohio. There's
Oh, yeah.
like an informatory out
Yeah.
there that's all creepy. But I mean, there's places all around here, man. There's a little bit of art like tucked away anywhere you go here in Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky, man.
Yeah.
So
in this space too. I mean, it's just so much land and openness
Yeah.
and beautiful trees, and then,
and they're willing to give it to you
architecture,
to
too.
film, man,
Yeah.
which is great.
Oh yeah, and then just being from Cincinnati too, and in the Northern Kentucky area, we've already been developing lifelong connections here for Jack and my entire life being from here.
Yeah,
And
you're on Heyman Talent Agency.
Yeah, I was with them, and I mean, still very well involved and connected with them. Shout out to Heyman Talent and Laura and Brittany and everybody. And so the rental equipment here locally is more than LA, because LA, it's so saturated out there that it's just they've got rental houses everywhere and more than enough equipment because there's so many films
Yeah.
going on all at
Yeah.
once. Where here in Cincinnati, there's not as much, so that's where you're paying a little bit more. But in terms of locations and just any type of prop or anything that you're looking for, people here are they're like, please use my place, please
Yeah.
use this.
Yeah,
they're
here's-
willing to just don't pay us. We would just love to
Right.
Here's my
love to have you
1921
film your
T
movie
model
here.
car. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
when I was in Secretariat. They all had the old cars out there. It was Seabiscuit. It was the 1920s one. And they're letting people use their cars, and it was like they had to move one of the Model Ts, and no one knew how to fucking move it, bro. So like the guy was just like, not only did he lend his car, but he was an extra, so he had to go over there and move his own shit because no one knew how to drive that thing.
Get a pay
But, like,
bump.
Yeah, right.
Well, in LA,
right.
there's casting sites, not just for actors, but for cars.
Oh, for sure.
For locations. I mean,
Clothes, everything,
Out there,
yeah.
everything's a business.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
As it should. As
Yeah.
things get bigger and things get more opportunity, and then people find ways to make that dough. They will
Right. And
yeah.
exactly like Denzel said too. I mean, you go to lunch in LA, and you're gonna talk about work probably at least
Yeah.
a few different conversations about it, and whether it happens or not. I mean, everybody out there, it's like you might go to lunch with somebody here and you're just in two completely different industries. Like, why would you talk about working together?
Right.
We're out there's a pretty damn good chance that you two could figure out a way to work together somehow, some way.
For
Yeah.
sure.
There's a high percentage they've been in the business or want to get in the business or has a cousin in the business.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Or something
Yeah.
adjacent to the business,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So Denzel, man, I did a little digging, right, and I see that you're like family roots, man. Your mom and dad, like they really kind of they let you be what you want to be as a kid, man, and that really. People take that for granted, right? When like that, your mom and dad's kind of like, hey, if you want to play baseball, go for baseball. If you want to play basketball, if you want to be an actor, like, but just be all in. If you're gonna do it, like go for it, right? So I think that's really incredible that your parents were kind of the ones that let you be you as a kid, right? And you can tell by the way that you talk and the way that your mind reacts. Like you're very strategic and very smart with everything that you do, man. And I'm assuming that like your parents instilled that in you at a young age, and it kind of just, you can tell, man, that like you were just put in situations where it was like you just stood out. You know what I mean? Like above the crowd. And, you know, when it comes to this Denzel thing, like, you know, he just, of course, I'm sure he was coming up to you like trying to, you know, relate on the whole Denzel thing. But then you guys got to be in another movie together, right?
Yeah, The Great Debaters.
Yeah. And so did he remember you? Or did you keep in contact with him? How did that, was he like, damn, you're still here,
you
like
know what's-
rocking it?
Yeah, no, what's funny about that is my mom really fought hard for the audition for The Great Debaters because she had found out through mutual friends that they were auditioning for the role. And my mom has been my strongest supporter and champion throughout this entire procedure. You know, she was my momager, as they call them, you know, manager prior to, you know, me really finding a team and finding great
It's
representation.
getting popular now. A lot of mom managers.
I mean,
and
look, you know,
yeah.
there's momagers, dadagers, you know, the whole
a lot of family
whole
doing the
thing out
yeah.
there.
Who's really gonna
No
have your
one's-
best interest
Right.
at heart?
Exactly. I
Exactly.
was gonna say the same
Yeah.
thing. Who's gonna have your best interest? You know what I mean? Like Lamar Jackson. Like who's gonna have your best interest? Your family. That's it.
Who's gonna have your best interest?
Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? Like, we got these stories.
Who
you know?
might also be closest to taking your fortune? Who knows?
Right.
It happens all the
Facts.
time too.
I mean,
so
yeah.
it's a delicate thing. Listen,
is, yeah, sure.
But I'd say to my parents, man, to your point, is like my parents were extremely supportive. It's my parents, my god sis, you know, the tribe that's around me really held it down.
Yeah.
I love that. That's
And you know, this Hollywood shit, I'll get back to the Denzel thing in a second, but like all of my same friends growing up in high school and middle school and elementary school, those were the same people I went to school with. You know, as much as I could, went back to, you know, my public high schools anytime I wasn't really working. You know, stayed within the same community. Everybody really held it down to the point where I wasn't treated any different. And I'm very, very grateful for
that's
those
cool.
experiences
Yeah.
to be removed from the industry so I could have as much of whatever a normal life looked like, even though I was working since the age of 10. I'm grateful for all of that because, you know, it's life experience. I knew plenty of cats who were homeschooled. And it's a different breed. You know, when you grow up in this industry, it can taint your vision. You start to think like, oh, this is the norm, and that can be that can play upon everything that you do. So you start to gain this higher sense of self, when really no, you're just privileged to do a job and the opportunity is in front of it, and you want to make sure you show up, be the best person you can, but also be the kindest person you can. So hopefully people want to work with your ass again.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And to your point with Denzel, you know, he's such a humble, giving mentor individual that when I finally at the audition, the callback, and I walk in at the Sony lot, I don't know if he's going to remember me.
Right.
Obviously, Denzel, who he is, and you know, at the tender age of 10,
Right.
what impression could I have made on him to where now I'm 17, would he even care to remember me? As
Or
soon as-
even recognize you, even if you
'cause
did have.
that's 7 years of a difference, and now I'm an adolescent teen.
Yeah.
What, you know what I mean?
Right,
So
yeah.
I walk in the door, and immediately he says, "Freeze! Put your hands up."
Oh shit.
And I was like, "Oh!" So it was super cool, and he came over, you know, gave me a high five and a hug, and it was all love. But even then, you know, it wasn't one of those things where he was given an opportunity just because he had remembered me. No, Denzel is such the capable, gentle mentor that I really, really attest not only my theatrical start as far as an actor, but also as a director. I attest a lot of that to my experiences I shared with Denzel Washington on The Great Debaters.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. And yeah, and mentor is a great word for him, because he seems, even from an outside perspective, it seems like he's getting to that age where he's trying to pass the baton on, right? So he's trying to find these young actors that are the next up in line, and really take advantage of making sure that you guys are the ones to fill his shoes, man. Those are big shoes to fill, bro.
You know, I think that also on your point there, I think as you get older and you start to like get comfortable in where you're at in the industry you're in, it becomes easier to help the young guns and the people that kind of remind you of you.
For sure.
And like you get passionate about, because like you've done so many things in different industries and different situations that you're like, you know what? I really don't know how much more like I can do that's going to satisfy me, but I see this little young dude here that like is just like me, and he doesn't know he's just like me. I'm way ahead of him, but you know what? Put your hands up. Like I'm gonna like that's my way of bonding real quick, because I know he's coming up, and like I could see that being a total realistic situation, because it's just like, dude, if you know, you know, and if you've already been there and you see young dude come in, there's a dude that comes into Native often, and I've done my thing in the music scene, and he comes through it all the time, and I'm like, dude, I could get you involved. Like you're just like me, dude. Like, and he's fresh 18. He just turned 18. He's ready to like get it down. But I'm just like, dude, I can see what you want to do. And I've thought about bringing him in and like just showing him some stuff. But like, I see it. It took me 2 seconds. He opened his mouth. I was like, oh, you're kind of like me. You don't know it, but you are. And then like, it drives me, and we go out and we hang out. Like we do our thing, like here and there. We just I just give him advice. But like, it's passion. It's fun. I enjoy it. He gets benefit, and then if he comes to be something, then in the future maybe like he's putting me on something. You know what I mean? Like
Dadager.
Dadager here. You know.
You know, to speak on his behalf and just to give him his flowers, he's very much like that. I mean, he'll be the first to tell you that he never wanted to be in this industry. You know, there was a piece of him that loved entertainment and performing, but he loved sports. He really, really loved sports. That was kind of like his first passion. And there's a story of him that when he went with his mom to the hair salon once, I think he had just got back from university or something of that nature. There was a woman in the corner who was getting her hair done, and she looks over at this young man, and she's like, come over here. And she just starts like reading into him, like deep into his soul. And she was like, you're going to do great things, but you're going to also help plenty of people, and you're going to be a talented performer. And literally she was like, sign this piece of paper. And that was like, you know, a story of Denzel Washington.
That's wild.
You know, his beginning. But he truly is one of those people who is a guided, gifted mentor. You know, he's heavily involved within the Boys and Girls Club of America.
Very cool.
He loves giving people their start. You know, it's kind of to your point, like he'll see something in you. He definitely seen it within me before I even knew I wanted to direct. And he would invite me to the editing bay. You know, he got me my first camera. Told me to pull up a book every single day and just write down notes that he would give me. He was teaching me stuff that I didn't inherently know that I wanted to know, but he's seen a curiosity.
Yeah.
And to your point, I think that sense of fulfillment just really comes from like, look, if you're blessed, pass that blessing forward.
Right.
Why is it yours to keep?
Why is it yours to keep?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's that idea that like is the person coming up with the idea, or is the idea choosing the host kind of a thing? You know what I mean? Like that kind of like battle. Like, is it yours, or is the idea just come to the host, and the host is that one to show the idea to the world? You know what I mean? Like that's kind of, is it yours? Is it? I mean, it is yours, but it isn't, because homie's coming up with a great idea, and then homie comes up with an even better idea without talking, but they're both on the same playing field. They never speak, and the ideas come at the same time, right? You know what I mean? So like, so many people come up with Uber before Uber. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I remember back in the day, I was down in Lexington going to school there, and this and DoorDash and all that hadn't been created yet. This was 2009, and I went to this party, and it's just a typical frat party, but it was like the engineers frat party. So keep in mind, these guys are a little brighter than your average bear. But I was at this party, and we were hanging out and stuff, and these guys just keep leaving over and over again. And I thought they were selling drugs or something, bro. I really did. I'm like, I've seen that before. Like they're out there slinging that green, whatever, doing whatever. And they come back with food, and they chill for a little bit, and then they leave. And I was like, why do they got Wendy's? Comes back with Taco Bell. And I'm like, what is going on? I was just so confused. And I was like, what are those dudes doing? They're coming in and out. He's like, oh, roommate, bro, my roommate and his homies. He's like, they be delivering food all over Lexington. And I'm like, cool. Yeah. That's dope. Like, they just deliver it to drunk kids, like drunk college students. I was
Brilliant.
like, Yeah, I was like, that's awesome. That's cool. That's the future, man. And all of a sudden, not long after that, we had Uber Eats and DoorDash and all this stuff. And I don't know if they're a part of any of it, but I know I saw them coming in and out of that party.
Speaking of, is that DoorDash dropping off milk right now?
Oh, it might be.
Like
yeah,
literally.
right. Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah,
When are
but
they
yeah,
gonna come out with Uber for pets?
bro.
You know, for like big dogs
Which
and
on
stuff
camera,
like
yeah,
that. People
Uber for
trying to
pets,
bring their
yeah.
You
pets
know, I
around
was
town.
just on Uber. This is no promotion. They now have specific Ubers for your pets.
All right, well, there we
Yeah.
go.
Oh, really?
There you
You
go.
heard it here first.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, that's yeah. But yeah, I saw that in real time a long time ago. I was like, how are these guys? These guys are killing it. But I didn't know what they were. I just knew they were coming in and out over and over again.
Yeah.
So they were running.
That's cool. I
Yeah, it's cool.
And like something you said earlier too made me just reiterate how energy is just so real too. Like you told the story about Denzel, and all it takes is one person. To
That's
see
all it
something
takes,
in
bro.
you or
Yeah.
tell you something that you know deep down in your gut, like this is for me. Even if you don't process it mentally yet, but you know deep down, like, oh, I could be good at this, or I'm supposed to do this, or like, this is just it. And all it takes is one person to come into your life, whether you know them or not, and just like see it in you, tell you what you needed to hear, and boom, like
It's the craziest feeling, man. I've got a person that did that for me. It was Emilio Estevez. I had I got picked up by Procter and Gamble as an up-and-coming entrepreneur. So they opened up a store downtown with Tide, like the cleaning product.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in the store with Tide for a full year, and at the very end of it, I wanted to throw this big like an ending event, like to really just kind of show Procter and Gamble like how good I was. And the event was on a Friday night, but there was a terrible storm that happened, and so like there was only like 6 people that showed up, and I did this world's biggest graffiti mural on clothes. So it's like the Guinness Book of World Records. Like I took 30 shirts and laid them all out and had a graffiti artist paint on all of them for one big logo. No one showed up, and I went back to the house, and I just broke down to my wife, my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, I just can't do this anymore, man. Like, you know, the W's are great, but the L's, like, there's nobody to blame. Like, it's the whole loss is on me, right? And I'm like, I can't do it anymore. So the next day, I was going to the store. I cleaned out everything. I put it all in my car. And I was sitting on my phone just typing this fake message like, oh, I'm so glad everybody came out last night. It was such a good event. But in my heart, I'm dying, bro. Like, I know that this is it. Like, I'm closing up, and I'm done. So as I'm texting this, like, I hear a knock on the window, and I look over, and it's the manager of the store. And she does this, and it's Emilio Estevez. And so I hop out of the car, and I start talking to him. And Emilio came in the day before and bought one of the native hats and loved it, and so he came back to buy it for his brother, his mom, and his dad. So he's like, I came back to buy more hats, man, but all your stuff's gone. So I ended up popping the trunk of my car open, and I sold him like $300 in native merch right there, right? So, and I told him, I was like, bro, like, you don't know, like, this is the craziest moment. Like, I was giving up, you know. So he prayed with me right there. He gave me, you know, he like put his hand on my shoulder. He's like, dude, like, you got this, man. Like, I came back because like this is my favorite hat. You know what I mean? Like, you may think you're in the dusk now, but like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, man, and I see it for you. And so like that was my moment, man. It was
Amen.
like, yeah,
Hey,
dude,
man,
and
what
that
a
was
divine passageway, man.
Yeah,
Yo,
that's
right,
what
dude.
a fire story.
And that's something like, you know, me and Emilio are friends to this day, but it's one of those things where it's like I didn't know him, and I heard that he came into the store, but I didn't know he bought one of my hats, and you know, just it was one of those things, man, where it's like God's telling you not to give up, bro. Like stop complaining, man. You're good. You know what I mean? Like you just gotta every once in a while you gotta step back and appreciate it and smell the roses. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that acknowledgement is so important. I mean, I guess to piggyback on what everyone else is saying, I too had a Denzel Washington moment. Denzel.
Hey.
So I was in a short film called Benny Got Shot, and the director was Malcolm Washington. Now at the time I'm an actor, and I don't know who Malcolm Washington is, so they cast me as the lead. I'm going in, we're going to do the reading and everything, and the producer comes to me and says, you know what, we found somebody younger, so are you okay with playing one of his friends? My pride it hurt.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
You know, if you want to be in this industry, you got to take what you can get. My mom used to say, hey, you got to get in where you fit in, right? So we shoot the short film, we do the premiere at AFI, and right as they're about to premiere, guess who comes walking down the middle aisle? Denzel Washington and his wife.
Oh shit.
And everyone starts freaking out. Oh my gosh, it's Denzel. And it just then hit me. Oh, I was working with Denzel Washington's son. This is Malcolm Washington. He's a director. You know what I mean? And it tripped me out, right? So I'm like, oh, okay. I'm glad I didn't turn it the small role that I got down because I had the opportunity to work with his son. Denzel's in the building. Now we're really here. This is Hollywood, right? After they premiered the short film, Benny Got Shot, encore, they show it again. We all come outside. I brought some homies with me, and they're like, yo, there goes Denzel. Like, go flick it up with him, man, or else it didn't happen. You know, that's what they were saying at the time. Yo, you got to get on Instagram, or else it didn't happen. And I just, it's got to be organic. I'm not going to go get in his face and put a whole camera in his face. So literally I'm chilling, enjoying myself, and he comes up to us, and he was like, yo, that was you up there on the slab, huh? Like, that was you. You died. And I'm just like, you talking to me?
Right.
And he was like, yes, that was you that died. Like, that was you, right? And I'm just like, yeah. He's like, what's your name, son? I'm like, my name is Hope. He's like, no, when a man asks you what's your name, you give your first name, last name. And I'm like, oh, shit, okay. Hope Ayiyi. And he was like, yo, you did a really good job. Let me ask you, is this what you want to do? And at the time, I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah.
And I told him that, and he was like, look, if this is what you want to do, I can't tell you exactly when you're going to get on, but let me leave you with this. Stay down until you come up. And Denzel Washington doesn't know, but he's one of the reasons why I'm still in this industry.
That's
just
incredible,
those,
bro.
Just those words. And when he shook my hand, I felt like the blinders got taken off. I felt like so electrified. I felt that energy just course throughout me. You know what I mean? So it was different. And from then, that's when I knew, all right, I have to go full force into this. This is 100%. Like, whatever we got to do, we waking up and we going to sleep, film. You know what I mean?
That's incredible,
So
bro.
it's contagious. But just that acknowledgement, you know, especially in Hollywood, people try to act so closed off and people got their blinders on. Everybody's a rock star in their own right. But it's free. It's so easy just to DM somebody and be like, hey, man, I fuck with what you're doing. You're dope. Like, let's link up. You know what I mean? That's literally how me and Denzel linked up. I said, bro, I fuck with what you're doing. Like, we got to link up and just figure it out. And that's what it comes down to.
That's incredible, dude.
That's incredible, man.
All right,
That's
Denzel, man. Where did Tyrell go?
Tyrell Wellick.
Hey, Tyrell.
Look at him.
He's
There he
coming.
goes.
He's
All
coming.
right, so Tyrell's the biggest Black Panther fan, bro. So I'm gonna let him take over my seat for a minute so he can ask you a couple questions.
Sure,
All right, Cool. Don't fuck this up, Tyrell.
Tyrell. I haven't heard the name Tyrell since, what was that, Mr.
Come on in,
Robot?
bro.
Remember Tyrell Wellick?
See, I didn't watch
He
Mr.
used to say,
Robot.
bonsoir, Elliot. He was, man, that was a great show.
I need
Headphones
to
to your
watch
left.
that.
Great show. The main
That's
character
Sam
name was Elliot.
Esmail, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam Esmail,
Yeah.
Rami Malek played Elliot.
He plays that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to ask any questions too early, but I started with you, Denzel. I asked you, and I'm gonna ask you again and
Sure.
get everybody's point of view. But the first thing I want to think of is like, what would you say is like your driving force? Like you didn't start at 10 years old. You were a little kid bumping around, and you found your way into this beautiful universe, and then now you're still here, 33 years old, still cranking. So what is your I get up every day because of this, and this is what pushes me to walk out that front door and keep going? I'm gonna ask all three of y'all this question.
You know what? Hold on.
He's throwing the fast.
Let's be even more transparent because you and I were having a sidebar before we even started this podcast.
Yeah, it was dope.
And it was casual the way you asked it because I think we were just feeling each other out, you know.
Yeah.
And you were asking me like, you know, so what are your passions? And I think I could expand on that, especially after what we had just talked about.
Right.
You asked me what my passions was, and my response was this. Now, don't get me wrong. I love cars. My grandfather was a mechanic. My pops is a mechanic. I grew up under the hood of a car. If I probably wouldn't be in the entertainment business, I would be working with cars.
Love that.
My first love was animation, you know. But to be honest with you, acting, directing, writing, just entertainment, period. Not necessarily one denomination, but making entertainment is my passion. And the reason why I say that's my passion and ultimately that is my driving force, bro, I'll tell you, man, maybe just about a week ago, a little under a week, you know, I was at my shorty's crib and
Preach, man, preach.
I couldn't
Church, talk to him, church.
I couldn't sleep. I was having dreams about a trailer that we were cutting at the time, and I had to get up and execute it. I just had to. Because you know what? If I don't get up and execute that trailer, then that means we got to go find somebody to execute that trailer. If we don't find somebody to execute that trailer, the trailer never gets done. If the trailer never gets done, then we don't get out the exposure of the film. If we never promote the film, then what was the point of hiring everybody? What was the point of getting everybody on set?
Talk to
What
him.
was the point of us putting our passion, heart, and soul into this? I'm talking about a film, the film that Hope and I are working on. We started writing this back in October 21. And me and my co-writer and co-director, we wrote this from a place of pain, and we wrote this from a place of honesty that we've suffered within our lives. That's what we do. We pour a bit of ourselves into our projects. Even as an actor, when I get a role, I shut down, just like for The Angry Black Earner Monster. For about a month straight, I told myself I wasn't going to watch anything on TV besides The Wire because I wanted to dive into the world and the mythos of what that was like.
Smooth. Love that
This
movie.
is the dedication that it takes. And I'm not going to put a moniker like to be great or to do great things or blah, blah, blah. Sure. Yes, we all want to be great. I honestly want to show up and I don't want to be a failure. I don't want to be the one person where somebody comes over to you and they have to pull your coat and be like, hey, man, you're not up to par. You're not cutting it. I don't want to go home and say that I was a disappointment or wasted anybody's time, money, or resources. Because the fact of the matter is every time that we get a film off the ground, every time we get to roll frame, that is a blessing. And that is not to be taken for granted. Some of this stuff, it could take a year to get off the ground. Some of it could take 5 to 7 years. So to that story, the project we were working on, we started writing that thing in 2021. By 2022, my homie was already cooking up music for it. We hadn't even got a lick of funding yet. By maybe November to December of 2022, so fast forward a whole year damn near, is when we finally got our first check to maybe get this made. We had to raise $48,000 on our own. We wanted $60,000, but we only have $48,000, which means now we got less money. So every moment, every minute spent on set is crucial because now we're under budget.
Right.
Again, we got people who are leaving their families, not like leaving their families, but spending 12-hour days of their time coming to set to dedicate, to put in that work, giving it their all because they believe in something. They either believe in their script or they believe in you, period. So what gets me up every single day is that I know God put something within me, and I know I need to exercise that. And unfortunately, it's the thing that I love so much the most. It excites me the most, but it also intimidates me the most because if I don't do it, nobody does it. Yeah. And as, you know, you guys sit here and you guys run this shop, and as you know, as independent, you know, shop owners and, you know, entrepreneurs, if you don't get up every day and hustle, that could be the difference between food on your plate or you feeding a whole family legacy. Yeah. You know, that could be the difference between your children never having to work again or you starving. Yeah. And which animal do you choose to feed at that point within inside of you? So I undeniably love this thing. I know there's nothing on this earth that I'd rather be doing, but if it's between me and another person or if it's between me and eating, I got to go out and get it, man. Yeah. And it's not from a place of competition. It's not from a place of scarcity. It's from a place of love, because I'd rather be doing this till the day that I die, because I don't know if I'd rather be doing anything else, and I know that's what God put in my heart.
Hey, bro, well spoken. I was gonna say, both paths are difficult.
Cooking.
If you don't do the work and you go down the path of struggle, that's hard.
That's hard.
But if you go down the path of work, that's hard.
Yeah.
Both are hard. Both are hard paths. It doesn't matter. So why not choose the option where you got a shot, shoot your shot.
Yeah.
You know, put yourself out there, put your entrepreneurship, your creative ideas, whatever the case may be, make those patches, go to that pop-up shop, go down there, hand out the flyers outside that music venue for your band's show. Go out there, meet with every producer, every director, every talent scout, meet with them, do it. If you don't, like, no one's going to do it for you. You know what I mean? It's just not gonna happen. It just isn't. No one's gonna be in your corner cheering you on. If anything, people are gonna be cheering that you're not doing it. You know what I mean? And like that's kind of and that's a sad story we live in. But like that is reality.
Yeah.
People are looking for
Yeah.
people's downfalls. They're like, you know what? I hope he doesn't get out of bed this morning. I hope he just sits on Instagram messaging those Instagram models rather than getting to the audition. I hope he
Yeah.
doesn't show up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's how a lot of people are looking at it. And
Yeah.
you got to know that if you don't do it, it really isn't getting done. You know what I mean? From top to bottom, especially if you create it. If you're the creator and you're the founder, that in that case, like all cards are yours,
Yeah.
and it's how you use that deck. You know what I mean? This isn't a deck that's predetermined. You choose the deck. You
Yeah.
choose. You stack it for you, man. So
And to that point, just really quickly, sorry,
Yeah.
fellas,
No,
to
yeah.
interject, but like,
we're in here, yeah.
if you guys have read the book The Alchemist,
Oh yeah.
The Alchemist was one of those that really changed my life.
Paulo Coelho.
And he talked about beginner's luck. And so I want to circle back to the Emilio Estevez story because
Okay,
that was so
yeah.
powerful.
It's very
Is
powerful
because
story,
sometimes God will give you a win. He'll show you the land of milk and honey before you even know that you're ready for it. Sometimes he'll show you where you can be and that you're worthy of being there before you ever get there. So sometimes just as much as we wake up, we cry about it, we thug it out, we put in our blood, sweat, and tears, even when money isn't coming in. Sometimes you'll get those wins, and it's very, very confirming. It's reaffirming that,
Yeah.
like, no, you're meant to be here.
yeah.
So don't give up.
Right.
Half of the battle is just outworking the person next to you.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah, I got a little quick story myself. So I used to be in a band and doing our thing, and we were always pushing to go to play Warped Tour, do anything we could to get into that scene. It was metal, rock, and we were determined to do this one thing, Warped Tour, to get early there and promote and do the stuff in the line. Well, that specific Warped Tour, there was a wreck that happened off the exit to get to the venue, so all the cars were stuck on the highway. And me and my band were just all sitting in these cars, and I'm looking at them, and they're all just like, we're just waiting, jamming. And I was like, you know what? We got 500 CDs. Let's walk down this highway. So I look over, I was like, guys, we're getting out of this cars. We're going to drop the CDs off in every car. And they look at me, and one of the members was like, dude, you serious? What do you mean get out of the car? I'm like, dude, I have a feeling we're stuck here for a while, and we're not going to hit the early route anyways. We're going to get there, and it's going to be kind of a weird situation. Let's jump out and let's walk. And the girlfriends were like, I'm not getting out. I was like, no, I don't want you out. No, we go. Boys, let's go. So we all hop out of the vehicles. We take our CDs that I had handwritten, all 500, every inch of detail that I could give within that find of that little circle. And we just tossed it in every car. And the EP wasn't amazing. It was early recorded in our in a closet with vocals and everything. But it didn't matter. Walked down that highway, got all the way to the bridge off of Kellogg Avenue, familiar. All the way across the bridge, get there, started getting we got all the CDs out, and we look back, and I'm like, dude, we've walked really far. Like we walked all the way down, like from like the edge of this ramp to get on the highway all the way to a bridge, and you could see the venue from the river basically there. I'm like, all the CDs were left like out of my hands, and I'm like, man. And I looked around, I was like, dude, these cars are gonna move soon, I think. I was like, we better go. So we start like hustling, and as we're hustling back to our cars, our music's playing, and everyone's on the same song. So all these people got these CDs, and they're like sitting waiting, right? And they all put it at the same time, and we're just listening to the same song across the highway, the 275 West, man. And it was just, it's a moment I can't even tell you. Like, it was just one of those moments that I was like, it was so early on. I'm like, dude, this is just so surreal. But like walking back and just hearing the songs and like hearing the air in one of the songs I didn't like, and I was like, but it was a moment that I was like, dude, this is so next level. And there's no cameras, no one's filming us. We were just like, I just saw the moment, I'm like, let's go. And their eyes got big, I'm like, we're going. Like,
There's no feeling like it.
So
huh?
bad.
dude, I can't
So
explain. I
badass.
just like a story that I want to get.
You want to
down.
tell the world.
Yeah,
It's like, oh,
yeah. 275 was
we
shut down.
understand.
We were trying to go to Warped Tour. It was just it, and I'm like, let's go. Like, I've got these CDs. I don't want to waste I spent all night writing. I mean, I did all that time of the individual splitting each one, writing the name, everything, all the info. And I was like, this is not going to go to waste. Let's go. And it, I don't know what came of it. I don't know if anyone even remembers it. I did meet the girl that got into the wreck though. Fast forward at a Halloween party.
Oh,
She
what?
told us, yeah, she told us she was there, and she's like, yeah. We were talking about Warped Tour, like the previous one, and she's like, yeah. She's like, do you remember when the Warped Tour got, like, the highway got shut down? And we're like, yeah. I was like, I actually walked down, and she's like, I was the one that got into the wreck. It broke my arm. And I was like,
Oh,
her
shit.
name's Katie. Like, shout out Katie. Yeah.
Nothing's by coincidence, man.
Dude, it's wild.
And
Yeah.
that whole story that you just told us, it really, you were dedicated, man. That's what it comes down to. Like, you didn't have to do all that, but that's really what it takes. And, this business is like a double-edged sword, to even go back to what you were saying, Tyrell. When when you're doing something that you love, right? When you're passionate, and like Denzel said, when you wake up, nothing else makes you happier, which is kind of, it's a joy, but it's kind of scary in itself, especially, me and Denzel, all of us who've been speaking about, just film and then trying to have a relationship outside of film. It's very hard because there's 12-hour to 14 to 16-hour days. And if you have a girlfriend or you have a significant other, they feel as if you should be pouring that same amount of energy into them, People will say, hey, you make time for who you want to make time for, but this is our passion. This is our purpose, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people don't have the opportunity to even have a purpose or to have that fire to just get them out of bed to go do what they love. Most people, they got to just go do what they have to do to support their family, and that's noble. But for us, we're not saving the world. We're making films. Yes, we're trying to tell important messages throughout the stories that we tell, but we're not doctors. We're not surgeons. We're not saving lives, but we are changing the perspectives of people. Sure. And it really takes a toll on us as filmmakers, but that's what we're signing up for. So, just to answer your question, I mean, just speaking for myself, I love this, to the point where I've had to sacrifice relationships to be in this industry, whether it was with the women, you know what I mean? That's just what it takes. It really takes that drive, that dedication, that passion, and, the L's that you guys were speaking about earlier. It takes those L's and flipping them into a W. Yeah. Every single L you take is a learning lesson, and you're able to go and get a dub with that in the future. A, B, and C didn't work, but hey, that's our experience. Now we can go ahead and transmute it over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I liked your point of, like, you're not a doctor, but I will say you are doing something that, not to say people look up to per se, we're not looking at that as like some kind of heroic type of thing, but people use entertainment and they use the platform that you're on as a relief to help the world move forward. It takes every ant in the farm to make it work, right? So, like, every person has their place in this. They might spend their lives finding their passion. I found it early. Like, I was 13, sitting in front of my computer playing. I'm 35 now. 33.
33. Yeah.
How old are you?
Yeah, I'm in my 30s.
30s.
34.
34. Yeah. So back in the day, playing that game RuneScape. Back in the day, we were kids, just playing bass and listening to bands and just playing the click game. And at 13, I just knew it's what I wanted. I just wanted to play in front of a large audience. I eventually did it as a vocalist instead of a bassist. But, like, the thing is like, I knew. I just knew. It didn't matter. I'm up to like 3 in. I thought the night owl thing would go away. Still happens at 35. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But at the time, like, I knew that, like, I had to make an impact. So then, fast forward as an adult, doing vocals and giving speeches on stage before our last song, and I started having people come to me like, your band is like saving my life. Like, I got people got tattoos of Ocean Grid was the band name, but they got tattoos and all these different things. So we may not be doctors, you know what I mean? It's an impact on people that are doing the day in, day out. You know what I mean? Like, it's there for them because, like, like I said, this idea come to you or your creative idea. Like, we're not sure, but you're in that position. So you'd be doing a disservice to yourself and the universe, the world, whatever, if you're not following that. You're there for a reason. So we may not be doctors, we may not be people that are directly, like, telling you your blood work, you know what I mean? But, like, man, like, we're helping keep, people going. And that's part of the whole entire, the whole picture in a macro sense. So I look at it like that. So I don't downplay, man. It's very important. Every piece is important.
Oh yeah. Like I said, we're not changing the world, but we are helping change,
Yeah, dude,
perspectives.
we
you know
are
what I
the
mean?
world, man.
Someone
This
could
is
be
it.
someone
Yeah.
could be set in their ways, and then they see a certain film, and they're like, "Damn, I never thought about it like that." Or they
Right.
could see a certain person of color, like, "Oh, damn, I couldn't imagine
Yeah.
that's what they're going through." Like, there's just
Yeah.
certain things you can portray to get across to the next person to open their minds. That's what we're doing, and that can, have a domino effect of changing the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We can
Literally.
we can all change the world by just doing one little thing,
Yeah.
one little piece. Like you mentioned about like just that driving force. I look at it as like when I watch a movie, I watch it for multiple reasons. TV is different. TV is, in my opinion, a distraction. But when I sit and I watch a movie, if I go to the theater and I pay for a ticket, I watch it because I want to experience something. I want to feel something. If I don't like something, I've never like walked out of a movie in my life. But if I don't like something, I'm not paying attention to it. I'm on my phone. I'm talking to the person that's with me or something like that. But if I'm tapped in, if I'm not fidgeting my hands, if I'm not doing, I'm in. I'm in for a reason, and I'm finding something. And sometimes you got to watch something more than once. Sometimes you got to watch something 10 times.
Yeah.
I've seen Black Panther probably 30 times. I've seen Training Day
He's
probably
Joe. He's
15, 20
really
times.
Yeah.
I love movies.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love movies.
Yeah.
Wow, film
But
buff.
He does.
But to me,
oh, he is there. He's in
to
there,
me,
yeah.
it's like, what is this movie doing for me? What is this
Yeah.
movie teaching me?
Well-
Does it make me feel some type of way? Does it make me want to be that great?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to be in a superhero movie. You don't have to be in a documentary to make somebody feel something.
Yeah, and I'm actually glad you said that because even with The Private Eye, we intentionally made this film with you having to go watch it a second time. It's like
At least.
Fight Club. It's like
Okay.
Love Fight Club.
a Sixth Sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you think you know what's going
Memento.
on.
But you don't.
Memento, even
Yeah.
Memento,
Yeah.
you think you
Yeah.
know what's going on until you watch it a second time, and there's so many Easter eggs and clues because this film is a mystery.
Right,
Yes, there's
right.
romance and a situational comedy, but at its core, it's a mystery film. So I challenge anyone. One, you're not going to be able to predict it, and two, you're just not going to know what this film is about. You think you're going to know, but the second time you go, there's going to be so many Easter eggs that you did not catch.
Yeah, and
Right.
That's awesome.
you're just gonna be like, how did I not catch this?
How did I
right
not
in front
see-
of my face?
how did I
Right
not
in
see
my
that
face.
first
The
time?
first
That's
2
awesome.
minutes of the
And boom,
film,
boom,
they
boom,
literally
boom,
told
boom.
me what's going on, but I didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
I told Jay when he told us about this project that they were working on and stuff like that, and I actually got to help out with it. I was like, as soon as that goes to DVD, that day I'm going to Walmart, wherever I gotta go. I'm getting 2 copies. One copy is gonna sit here in this store. The other copy is gonna be sitting on my PlayStation
Love
because
it.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
ready to watch it. I'm here.
Old school PlayStation. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So
And
I'm
we're trying to
just-
build more than just a movie with it, a whole universe, a whole world.
sure,
like,
for sure.
and that's-
Okay. So it's
you know,
going to be much further
Oh
than the
yeah, I
movie.
mean that's
okay.
why we're
Yeah.
doing this
Okay,
tour
cool.
of parties too.
Got you.
I mean,
All
to
right,
promote
cool.
the film, we're promoting revealing the poster tonight. First time here in Cincinnati.
There you go.
Grand opening of Illusion Island's production office. We also are revealing the merchandise made here tonight.
Yeah.
So you'll see it here first, and like I said, it's just a whole universe that we're building, and we're really excited about it. And love your comments on the movies too. I'm the same way. I mean, like I love TV too, but it's definitely more of a distraction for me. And it just
100%.
keeps going. You just keep watching and keep watching.
Keep watching the same thing.
Movies, like, man, you can really if it hooks you in. There's very few experiences like that.
I feel like there's more resource for movies when it comes to doing something different. With TV, you're gonna find 30 cop shows. You're gonna find 30 different shows, different title, but the same show.
Yeah, 'cause
made
they-
by a different person, same show.
They got to make sure they keep it safe. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, okay,
100%.
this is what's working. We're going to do another
Yeah.
buddy cop. You know what I mean?
But
Yeah.
a movie can be anywhere in the world. Somebody in Jamaica could be working on a movie while someone in Florida is working on a movie, and they tap in together. Then they go to Canada and make a movie. That's what I love about movies. And one cool fact about my life is my mom was a manager at Blockbuster for 7.5 years. So when DVDs came out, my block was the first block. That movie came out. Oh, I already seen it. You ain't got to tell me nothing. What happened, Shorty? She get her head cut. Yeah, bro, I was watching that. What you mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
So like
Say
that's I
less.
think that's really what like got me like every dope movie that comes out. If I know somebody's name or even if it's something different, I'll try to pick her between the two. I'll find something. All right, so and so is gonna be in this movie. Denzel Washington is gonna be in this movie. All right, cool. this person I ain't never heard of, but I look at the story behind it and I'm like, you know what? I might see about this. I might see because it's different. It's different. I want you to blow my mind. I want you to show me something I've never seen before. Because I've watched everything that's been recreated, the Halloween movies, the James Bond movies and stuff like that. I want to see something that's never been done. So that's where I'm at, and I'm all about finding the next wave. I'm all about finding the next topic. All right, we're gonna talk about this movie. How was it? Was it great? Was it bad? Was it this, that? That's where I'm at.
That's why
about
independent
the remakes.
Yeah, that's why independent filmmakers are so important. You know, we're not here for the remakes and the reboots. We're here to give you the fresh ideas. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what we're here for. We're the next wave.
Yep.
That's what it's so
You didn't answer the question.
No.
Gotta go back.
You missed out.
Well,
What happened?
For me, man, similar to these guys in a way, a big part of it is like not failing. But even deeper than that, I just remember being 10 years old. I think it might have been 13, 14, but we had to fill out this memory book in school. And one of the questions was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'm like, damn, how am I supposed to answer that question? I was always someone who was a little scared of the future. And I put down professional athlete, actor, or doctor. You know, I knew I wanted to be something like that. But
great,
if I was
one
going
of
to
them.
do something, I wanted to be in the category of the best,
There you go.
if not the best. But for me personally, I'm a very all about, you know, God's blessings and energy and karma. And I'm also a very symmetrical person, if you will, to where I could easily fall into the homeless on the street. You know, I don't need much. I could fall off a grid, be in the middle of the woods, and be cool, you know, find a way to just, like, disappear. But then there's the other side of me that wants, you know, not the total opposite of that.
Lights, camera, action.
To be known,
Yeah,
lights,
yeah.
camera, action,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
make a positive difference. A big part of my drive has always been to give back in any way I can. And when I was thinking about it, I was about 20 when I really started doing some soul searching and figuring out what I wanted to do with my life. And you know, the like athlete dream was if I would have gone all in on it then, sure, I believe I could have made it happen. But it just felt like, you know, that was my first love and my lifelong love, and I just felt drawn in a different direction. And I got a degree in exercise physiology. I was highly considering the medical route as well. But, you know, that's a long commitment too, and this and that. And I just didn't really feel like that was it. I even looked into the military. I was looking in the pilot school. Thought flying planes would be dope. And that was also another 12-year commitment, you know, and cut my hair off. And at the time I had long hair. Everything just kept coming back to the actor dream. You know, I just would always go back to the plays I did as a kid and the compliments that, like, you know, my theater teacher in high school would give me and things, little things like that. And as soon as I really started to listen to that and kind of go with that itch, I would meet random people that would just, you look like that actor. Or like, are you that actor? And I was like, I haven't acted in nothing yet. Like, I haven't even told nobody about this. Like, I was switching my life completely. You know, I got a bachelor's degree in a whole other field, and now I'm telling my parents I'm going to LA to be an actor.
Yeah.
You know, that wasn't the easiest conversation.
For
But
sure.
like,
I
as
can only
soon as I
imagine,
committed
yeah.
to that, it was just like I said, I'd be at work, I'd be walking down the street. Everywhere I would go, I would run into people that would have to just shoot me a compliment about, you know, something about who I look like, or you should be doing this. Or this one lady, she was a numerologist, but I worked with her at this medical facility I was working at. And she would always, like, you know, do my numbers and stuff. And, you know, she told me I was an 8, which, you know, 8's very symmetrical. So, like, I like a balance, you know.
Yeah.
But I'd never told a soul yet, and she would come in almost daily. I'd see her, and she'd be like, damn, thought today would be the day where you didn't show up, and I'd hear you were out in Hollywood making a Western movie. And I'm like, what? You know, like, so there was just
There's
these
a little signs.
signs.
Yeah.
And now that I'm in it, thank God to my 21-year-old self for being crazy enough to move across country, not knowing anybody, and just going for it. But when I really commit to something, you know, I'm not going to give up on anything or anyone. And so that's just my drive, really. Is just I could wait. I like my sleep, but my kind of motto is what matters is what you do when you're awake.
Yes.
And so when I'm awake, I can't let myself just sit around and fail and do nothing.
Right.
I gotta be all in, and I got too many people riding on it now, and just too much invested in it, and and it's not even about like proving people wrong or proving people right, or yes, like it's nice to feel proud and make the people you care about proud, but it's just more just that deep feeling of there's nothing else I could or would rather do. I mean, this is just what I'm at. And I was fortunate to have parents that would guide me no matter what I was trying to do in life, push me to do everything. I mean, I grew up playing 17 different sports on and off. And so I have a lot of different capabilities, and which helped me book a lot of commercials when I first got into the game. But the beautiful thing about an actor is you can be all those things. You could be a doctor, you could be a pro athlete, you could be a pilot. It doesn't matter. There's no limits. And so I think that's my favorite thing, all in all, is tapping into different worlds.
You can see it when you speak on it.
Yeah.
When you're speaking on it, you can see it. Like humans have a glow when they're in their passion mode, right? It's just it's like it radiates.
You wish you could fully put the words on it, but if you know, you know.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. And the passion that comes from within is coming from this deeper self. And that's something I don't think we understand as humans. What is that deeper self? It's just there. Which we go back to is the idea yours or is the idea choosing the host?
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like that's why everyone's here for a reason. When you talk about, we're not doctors, but you know what? Doctors are there for that reason. You know what I mean? They found the passion in helping people, and then you know what I mean. Someone has to play the actor on TV because that doctor isn't gonna want to do that.
Oh, yeah.
So someone has to play it on TV. Someone has to be House. Someone has to be that guy to lead a generation, lead people, because
the thrill of it.
The thrill of it, sure,
the
yeah.
wild run. It's not for everybody.
No.
A lot of ups, but a lot of downs.
Yeah.
And crazy gambles and risks.
Gambles,
but,
risk. We're risk takers. Everyone in
God
this
will
room,
take care
risk
of you.
takers, man.
Yeah.
Risk takers is just how we're built. It is the way. Like my brother always says, he's like, you're such a risk taker. He's like, I was like, well, you're more of a risk taker, bro. Like you do this, and he's like, no, not like you.
Yeah.
He's like, my risks are safe. Your risks are just always risky. And he's
But
like,
the world
but my
will treat
dad,
you beautiful as you
yeah,
treat it.
but my dad is very like a concrete guy. So like when you take a risk onto concrete people, they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm going to do this. And he's like, good luck. And I'm like, yeah. And like, but that's how it works. Like, I'm just willing to do it because I don't know. There's something within me that says, hey, let's walk on this highway. Let's hand out these handwritten CDs in front of a bunch of cars that could run us over in 2 seconds. Let's do it. You know what I mean? So like, yeah. And I feel like, Denzel, you have something to say. You got something on your mind? What's going on?
Got him sparked up.
I got it. I see his wheels turning a little bit all over.
I mean, look, I love to sit back and just listen.
Yeah, it's cool.
The one thing that I'd probably say that's applicable here in the conversation is, look, have you guys seen that interview with Rick Rubin where he talks about passion and creation? He preaches a similar thing that Joel Osteen kind of preaches as well. That kind of really sums up what we've been talking about. He says, look, when you're creating art, if you create it for, and this is just me paraphrasing, if you create it for audiences or you think about how it's going to be received, now you're worried about creating it for others. Whereas if you put your heart and soul into something, no matter how daring, no matter how defying, if you just create it from a place of, I really dig this, I love this, and chances are there's going to be other people out there who are going to like it. But if I love it and I really care about it and I put my heart and soul into this, he says that's like really you exemplifying the power of God through you. That's you serving God in that moment. You know what I mean? That's the best you can do. And so speaking to your point, to everybody who sat on this couch and everybody who's, partaken in this podcast, it's obvious that we all have passions in what we do, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, we might not be doctors, we might not be lawyers, but through music, you can save somebody's life. Through acting, I've had people come up to me, man, and they were like, yo, you don't know what it meant for me for you to play that character. You changed my life. Now, I'm just doing the best of my abilities because this is something that's really afflicted me. Sometimes there are roles that are cathartic for me that feel like therapy, and I got to get it out. But then when I get that therapy out, it's no longer mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the world's to have. It's the world, and
Right.
you know, it's a wonderful feeling to know that you're not just doing this for yourself, and not to put it on your ego and not to put it on your rails like, I got to act this part for other people. No, I'm doing the best of my abilities because this is something that I feel. It is a visceral, guttural feeling that I feel, and now I can let it go. And if somebody partakes from this, then that's the biggest blessing that I could have done, because God has given me the gift, and now I'm sharing that gift with somebody else. But ultimately, I'm just here to serve the best I can. So as long as I'm not hurting anybody, harming nobody, trying to, be malicious, as long as I'm trying to be a decent human being but put forth the best effort I can, I think that's the best way we can honor, our higher power above.
Dude, well said. That's
Amen
perfectly put.
again.
I wanna say on
Yeah,
that it's
amazing.
so crazy that you spoke that into life. My thought while everybody was talking and putting their ideas was about being able to create something. So the fact that you said that, it was almost like it would have been a question and a statement, but it's basically like, movies to me, I feel like there's more creativity. Like I said, back with TV shows, they're all trying to be the same. They want to be the longest reigning show. They want to be the Simpsons and the Law and Order and stuff like that. With movies, you can do anything.
Oh, yeah.
You can do anything.
yeah.
You put Man on the Moon, and you can give it a different perspective in so many different lights. Somebody's gonna do it, and in 40 years, someone's gonna do it again, and they're gonna be like, "Oh my God, look at that camera work. Look at that amazing picture. Look at that. That looks like the freaking moon, man. That's
Yeah.
amazing." But the dude that did it 40 years ago, he didn't have the technology. He didn't have
His
all
tools,
these
the
other
tools
things.
are different. Yeah. Yep.
With a TV show, it's a set. You're gonna
Yeah.
build it up. You're gonna sit in the same spot. You're gonna talk. You're gonna do all these things
Yeah.
every single episode. But with a movie, you're gonna build something.
fresh.
Someone's gonna be
Fresh
out there
pages.
carving something with a knife just to make this
For that
thing
one
look
thing,
beautiful.
for the one thing too.
For the one thing.
Yeah.
For the one thing.
I wonder how many like props and stuff. I mean, do props get reused a lot? Or you guys like how?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure that.
prop
I'm sure. Yeah,
houses,
yeah.
and, you
So
know, you
with the
gotta
prop thing, so like someone's
rent
making
them out.
something. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like I said, everything's a business out there.
It's
but
got to be, and someone's getting hired to do
Yeah.
that said job and stuff like that. I can tell that just by the communication and stuff like that. You're surrounding yourselves with intelligent people that are giving you some types of advice and stuff like that. The more I listen to you talk, I hear Denzel Washington's voice in my head, man. I've listened to this man say so many crazy different things, and I'm like, this guy could be his son, his nephew, he was some type of mentor for you for that moment, for that
Definitely.
however
Significant.
however long time frame that you got to talk to him back then, and it stuck with you. Because I can tell just by the presence that you're speaking, like this man learned a lot, and he might not even remember everything the man said, but he taught you something. And I think that's beautiful. And I see you guys feed off each other, the energy, pathways
it's
and stuff like that. Like
Pretty.
these guys obviously
force it.
spending a lot of time
You can't.
together. They're obviously talking
Yeah.
a lot, and they're feeding off each other without even trying. You're gonna say something that he might have thought of 20 minutes
yeah.
ago, and he's like, "Dang, bro, I was just thinking that." And then
I already
Denzel's
knew when you asked
organic.
us the same
Denzel's gonna
questions, I was
tap in.
like, well, if I go last, how am I gonna
yeah,
say
like
the
how
same
do
thing
you
differently?
how do you
Yeah,
do
you
it? But you
are.
did it. But you
You
did
are.
it beautifully.
Yeah,
All
you
of
guys are. You guys are. You're flowing really well, actually. Like if I'm from an
Yes.
outsider looking in, like even though I'm in the podcast, like, you guys. It's like you. This is not pre-planned. Anyone watching?
Yeah.
This isn't. This is just how they are as the rapport.
It's beautiful.
I will
beautiful scene.
say though, so when you guys first started getting into movies and started getting into like just understanding it, what was that first film, the first movie, even if you were little, like what was that first film that like got you excited?
Crooklyn.
Raise the hairs on your arm. What is it?
Crooklyn, Spike Lee.
Okay.
Spike Lee.
Crooklyn, Spike Lee. I watched that with my moms. My mom's from Akron, Ohio. Shout out to Mom Dukes. But it was Crooklyn.
Okay.
That was one for me.
All right. Yeah.
For me, it was, two parts. As an actor, it was I Am Sam. Funny enough, it was Dakota Fanning's performance as a young performer, and me being a young performer watching and seeing the depths of what she was able to do at her age, and I was like, wow. As a child, that really gave me the courage. I was like, man, I could do that on screen? That's incredible. And then Back to the Future and Jurassic Park in terms of like as a
Oh.
filmmaker.
Okay.
Yeah, just the
All right.
pure imaginative spectacle that is filmmaking. I think is truly embodied in those two projects.
And how they basically told us what dinosaurs looked like.
I mean,
And I mean, Jurassic Park was huge for me as well. Like that's what comes to my mind like instantly with when you said that. I'm like, we as a society really didn't. Dinosaurs are just conversation, but when they put it to film,
we still don't know what
We don't
dinosaurs
know.
sound like,
right,
but
right, or look like. But they
off
gave
of
us
Jurassic
an idea.
Park, they gave us the idea. I
An
mean,
idea.
look,
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big Spielberg fan. I would like to consider myself a Spielberg baby, but just he defies what we know are the limitations of filmmaking, and he's not the only one. Obviously, there's a plethora of auteurs, but just in general, that's the beauty of art is that it's boundless. And I think some of the art that he has made that he's been criticized for within his artistry is some of the greatest gifts we have to filmmaking.
Yes, I totally agree. Totally agree.
Absolutely, man.
And what is your movie that got you
I've got a few that pop up.
ignited? Yeah.
When I was a kid, like I like to watch more like kind of like ones that you can turn your brain off and just laugh. I was just a happy kid. Tommy Boy was one of my favorites. And
Okay.
me and
Oh,
my
yeah.
dad and my brothers would love watching that one. But I gotta go into my romantic side and say probably the combination of The Notebook and The Titanic really just
Wow.
I just got caught watching those at a young age, and I was like, man, like just so much going on,
Yeah.
and just like Leo and and Ryan Gosling. I mean, they were just
Yeah, influences
just
for
was
sure.
like,
Yeah.
I felt like I could
Yeah.
play those roles. It's kind of how
Okay.
I think as a kid I was watching them. Was like, man, like this is not only great, but like it was the first time I was like, I feel like that could be me,
Yeah.
And then I gotta show love also to The Dark Knight. I mean, Heath Ledger's last role as the Joker.
Oh, it's crazy.
That one
Wild.
too, like because I'm a nice guy and got a big heart and all that jazz, but I'm leaning more towards the villain roles than the superhero roles personally. Maybe it's just because I don't get to play that in real life, but I like the bad boy roles.
Okay.
And I'll do the good ones too, but yeah.
There's something for that bad guy,
Jurassic
right?
Park actually that inspired me to start writing my very first script years ago. I mean, it's unfinished, but like gave me an idea, and like that that movie was just so great in so many ways. But like the depths of it too gave me an idea, and it was the first time I really just got lost in the writing. And so shout
man.
out to Jurassic Park.
Dude.
Oh, now I feel like I gotta give a reason. They both gave reasons.
yeah, but
I
you-
just said
you-
Crooklyn.
That's cool. Give one. We're
Real
here.
quick.
We got nothing but time, man. Be good.
I chose Crooklyn because that was the first time that, like black people were not monoliths, right? I feel like, yes, we had the Cosby Show and that was cool, but that wasn't every single black family. And Spike Lee captured it so beautifully, a black family in New York and what it looks like to have a lot of siblings, and it's kind of dysfunctional, and it's a lot of chaos, and you guys are kind of poor, you know what I mean? Like, it was just so much going on in his hood, and I felt like he portrayed that beautifully. Like, I got to watch that with my family, and that was the first time where I was like, wow, this is representation at its finest. Even down to Do the Right Thing. That's the first time I watched a movie where I'm like, he's breaking down racial barriers. I mean, this is how we talk to our friends, and this is what's going on in the hood. But
Yeah. Okay.
that was the first time where I was like, wow, this is real. You know what I mean? Spike is really on his shit. You know what I mean? So shout out to Spike. I just had to say
Yeah.
that.
Shout out to Spike,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
Shout out.
Hey, but before
Yeah.
I forget, man, Jonathan Chia says what's up.
Hey, Jonathan
what
G.
it do, what it do?
That's
What's up?
That's the homie, bro.
What?
He's from
Hell yeah.
Cincy. Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah. He's
He went
from
to my
he's from
high
the
school.
area, dude.
What a small world.
I
Right?
didn't know you knew.
Oh man.
He is one of
You know
those
how I
guys,
met
bro,
him?
that always connects the dots, man. He's such
Oh,
a
yeah.
good dude, man. Like I really feel like there's this aura thing that we all carry, right? And it's like if our auras match, like same color, whatever the like your idea of an aura is,
Sure.
you gravitate, man, like magnets. And he's one of those guys that he's like all love all the time, man. He's a good dude.
He
to be
really
around.
is, man. Hardworking guy. I met him on set, I think. Mutual friends,
probably,
Yeah.
He's just always plugged.
Yeah, right?
I was in
Yeah.
town from LA, and I was going on a bike ride with my girl at Miami Whitewater, and we pull up. I wasn't sure where the trail started, and I asked some random person driving by or biking by, I'm like, where's the trail start? I'm like, I'm from here, but I just got in town from L.A. He's like, oh, my nephew lives in L.A., Jonathan Chia. And he gives me his contact information, calls him up right there, and then we link up as soon as I got back in L.A.
That's how that family is.
I always
That's
kind of
so
knew who
funny,
he was
man.
because he went to my same schools growing up, but was a little older.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you're young, you don't
Yeah.
really mesh with
Right.
the older kids as much, but yeah. Then we
For
linked
sure.
up in
I got
LA.
to I got
Dope
to
guy.
I got to record in a music studio that he recorded.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, in Dayton, Ohio. Yeah, we did a single there. Yeah, it was an old school, like did a grand piano in like the center. You could definitely tell some people had came through there. So when the guy that owned it, he's like, yeah, Don Cheadle's here. He recorded in here. So you guys are like, he was trying to sell. I was like, dude, we're already here for you. Like you don't have to sell, but thanks for letting us know. I'll take it home to the family. That's cool. Like, but yeah, that's another little tidbit there.
Yeah, we're gonna have to ask this, man, or else we're gonna get beat across the social media and online. How was it working with Matt Rife? Like back in the day,
Fair.
like not knowing who he is now. You know, was he a funny guy on set? Could you see something in him that you're like, wow, this dude's gonna blow up? Or because like I know he doesn't like social media, which is like his funny joke because he's like, that's the only reason I'm here is because of social media.
Yeah.
But like, did you guys like see something in him or?
Well, going into pre-production, I'm sure Jack has said this on the previous podcast, but originally that role was for David Duchovny.
Yeah.
And then we had the role of Michelle that was supposed to be Julia Roberts.
Right.
Right. Now, this whole approach, we just wanted to find the right actor for the project. It didn't matter what their star meter was. It didn't matter how famous they was. We wasn't playing the studio games. We just wanted to, since this is a mystery and it's a psychological mindfuck at times, we would just wanted the best actor. Jack introduced me to Matt. We had lunch, and I just wanted to make sure he was a cool dude.
Mm-hmm.
Is this somebody who I can work with on set 15 to 25 days, you know what I mean?
Right.
Is he going to be a prima donna diva, These are all the things that I'm like seeing if he, marks the checkbox. And
Yeah,
he was a
you
cool
got your
person.
guard up, man, for sure.
He was cool. I mean, the movie, there's situational comedy in it, and with his crowd work and just the ability, even when people are heckling him and he can just improv that was what he brought to this project. I mean,
that's great.
Just his improv game, there were certain things that wasn't in the script that like he just did, and we were like, all right, that works. Like, keep doing that, keep that continuity.
That's great.
So it was really dope. He was a fresh talent to work with. He was hilarious on set, but he was really, really keyed in. And when we brought my man Denzel on set, that's when it really got amped up. I mean, we have a lot of talented people on this project, but my man Denzel, I mean, I can't say that there's no one else on set that was a child actor. So he's been in this game. He's been through the ringer. He's seen everything. He's worked with the greats. So that was a blessing in itself to be able to bring my brother on set, because when he had to do his scenes with Matt really had to focus up. Matt was like, oh,
you had to
you
level
guys are
up.
bringing somebody in to take my head off, and I don't want to. No spoiler alert, but there are some scenes in the Private Eye to where you're gonna be saying to yourself, "Wow, Denzel really stole the scene in that one."
Oh,
Like, he's a
shit.
scene
Jaws were
stealer.
dropped.
This guy is a scene stealer. So
Jaws
watch
were
out to the
dropped.
producers and the writers. This guy is a scene stealer. Matt was on his P's and Q's when
Stone Cold
Denzel came
killer.
on set. That's what I want to say.
That's
Hey,
dope,
bro.
These
dude.
guys are very kind. Listen, Matt, that's my brother right there.
Yeah.
Matt, as soon as we met on set, because I wasn't familiar with Matt to that degree. I know he was on Wildin' Out beforehand. He was heavy in the comedy scene even before,
Trying to pay his dues. Yeah.
his recent rise. Oh, no. Matt has been paid his dues.
Grinding. Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Talk about a grinder.
he
Oh, yeah.
has, but he's nonstop relentless, and that natural wit, that fast, uncanny ability that he has with his crowd work, that's how he is just in real life. I've never met somebody so more sincere, more honest about who he is. He's very upfront, insecurities, everything. Like,
Yeah.
we've gotten to spend time after we shot on the Private Eye because we really hung out as bros, and he's really into fitness. And so, I'm half in, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So he started coming over to the crib. We started working out together for some time, taking boxing classes together. So
Okay.
I really got to know Matt, you know, as,
On a
as a
personal
man
level,
on a
yeah,
personal level.
yeah.
Wonderful dude. I mean, he deserves every single blessing that's coming his way.
Yeah.
You know, one of the most humble, just like really loves his craft. And I remember like back when he shot his first stand-up special. He poured all his money into it. You know, he crowdfunded. He was able to, you know, make something for himself. He said, I was just going to put it on YouTube. He says, man, I'm just going to go out there and just keep doing shows. Everything that he said he was going to do, that man is doing today. And he pours his all into it. And he's been blessed phenomenally, but something like within the last couple of years, he said, I'm just going to do it. Fuck it. What else do I have to lose?
He's
with
a
that
yes
mentality-
man, dude. Every time somebody puts something from him, he's like, yeah, like
Breaking down doors.
So he was booked at the Funny Bone here, right? Which is like a standard club, but at the same time, he already had the national tour that he was doing. So he had the Icon where he was doing 2 major shows there. Like it might have been a weekend or something. But but that was before he even hit the Funny Bone. So like he's selling out the stadium, and he hasn't even done the Funny Bone stuff. And it's like that's just like, bro, like doubling down. Like anybody that's, you know, like, hey, I 365 days a year, I'll work 360. You know what I mean? Like give me 5 days off. That's the type of guy he seems like he is right now, man. He's just all in, just doubling down
He's
on
trying
it.
to outwork everybody, but he's really living in his purpose. I mean, he's putting in those reps every single day.
I mean,
it shows.
For sure. You know what? How I see that it shows is I see comedians that have been doing their shit for a long time now doing crowd work. You know what I mean? Like it's all on Instagram, bro. It just any comedians you start to see, you know, they used to be good with just telling their jokes up there. Now it's all the videos are them interacting with the crowd. So that just shows the power of what he's doing, right? Like he's nailing it, man.
Yeah, in a way, you know, as filmmakers, we're doing what the greats, you know, before us did, like John Singleton's and the Spike Lees, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, John Singleton with, you know, Lawrence Fishburne and Cuba Gooding, Spike Lee with Mekhi Phifer, and just the amount of cast he's worked with, is we have the ability to see talent and know this is what filmmaking is going to be about in the future. These are going to be the next greats. You know what I mean? Everyone that we grew up on, eventually they're going to pass away, right?
Right.
And there's going to be someone that needs to fill
Fill
their
them
shoes.
yeah.
So we have the ability to know, okay, Matt Rife, he's going to be one of those guys. Denzel Washington, he's going to be one of those guys that's going to lead this.
I hope Washington is.
Denzel Whitaker. We've been talking about Washington. He's already stamped. Denzel Whitaker. He's going to be one of them ones that's going to lead this this era of cinema into the future, and that's what we need. We can't, you know, I watched the podcast with Jack that you did a previous great podcast, by the way.
Thank you, bro.
But we have to work horizontal and not vertical.
That's
you know what I mean?
that's Jack's
we
line there,
really
yeah.
gotta.
I loved that line.
We
That's
got it.
it.
We found our tribe. You know what I mean? And that's what works. Is finding people who you mesh well with, finding people who you want to tell dope stories with, and just progressing with those people.
100%.
You know what I mean? Never shitting on them. Never, you know, yeah, we worked on that together, but now I got a bigger budget. I don't need you. Like, no, we need to keep it in the family. If I'm ever in a room and somebody needs an actor like Denzel Whitaker, I'm going to speak his name into existence, and that's going to get his next check.
100%.
Versus just keeping that to myself for my own projects. Like, what the fuck is that about? You know what I mean? So that's how we keep this going.
High
This
tides
thing of
rise all
ours.
ships, bro. Bringing it right back to the beginning, man.
You know, and persistence plus patience equals perseverance. all
Hey,
day.
I won't be able to say that 3 times fast.
Hey.
But
I've been saying that for years.
Hey, before we get out of here, I know you guys got to go. 6 o'clock is the event tonight
Yeah, we
down
gotta
in
get
Glendale.
running.
But I do want to plug Blackmouth, man, because that's something that you're passionate about. It's your project, and I want to make sure that you're able to shine your light on that. Because it seems like that's something that's, you know, especially when you team up with like-minded individuals, man, like it's only going to go up from here. So when it comes to Blackmouth, it seems like it's like a kind of like a host for everything on the entertainment side, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's kind of like the hub of Blackmouth. It really is. I mean, the name originates from just back in the day. It was like my gamer tag. You know, it's kind of like a nickname. It's a moniker. And even the same with, you know, my logo. Here, you know, it's on the phone. It's on everything, literally. So,
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Nice.
these were things that I've always carried with me from middle school. And you know, when it came to first forming my first company, they were like, "Oh man, well, what are you gonna call it?" Well, Blackmouth. You know, that's what everybody knows me by. So yes, it is like an incubator for everything that, you know, we creatively do, or I creatively do with the branches of my network. You know what I mean?
for sure. I saw like there was photography on there. Like you guys got a little bit of everything that you're kind of diving into, man, which is really cool.
Absolutely.
Everything from the headshots. I mean, if you want to go and get your whole taping, if you got an audition you need to tape, man, Blackmouth, they handle it all. You feel me?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Numbers.
That's
we do
incredible,
it all.
bro.
Good job, Blackmouth.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
All right, so if they want to check that out, is that's an LA based thing? So people
LA based thing for sure. Blackmouth.com at Blackmouth. That's how you reach me direct. Yeah, you know, he is I am him, and we are them.
Let's go.
And that's
bro.
him.
All right, man. So if you guys want to go meet these guys tonight, they'll be signing T-shirts, signing autographs, doing the whole nine down in Glendale, right?
Glendale,
So
5 Village Square, Glendale, Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yes, sir.
all right.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll
45246.
we'll drop the info on our page
Meet
as
me there.
well.
Don't
with
meet
the
me
And I will
address.
do a quick shout out to Carmen at Pepe Ramundo's.
Always.
Hooked up with us
Shout out to
tomorrow
Carmen.
night, baby.
Did,
Shout out
did
to
you guys
Carmen.
get to meet him yet?
Jewelry, too.
Carmen
Yeah, we
got
met
us
Carmen.
fly.
And
We met Paolo.
My
Yeah,
inner
yeah,
fly
baby.
guy,
Oh,
he
come
brought
on.
out.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we'll be looking sharp. Even
That's
sharper.
All right, man. Well, I really appreciate you guys for coming through, man. It was an excellent time. This
Thanks
is
for
going to be
having us.
one podcast for the record books.
Yes, it is.
And I can't wait to obviously when the movie comes out and AMC right here, man. I'm a flood the internet with. We had them. They were here. You guys
Yes,
could have
sir.
seen them.
Yeah, right
Go
next door.
check out the
Yeah.
Private
Oh,
Eye,
we'll be
everybody.
back.
Come
The
on.
Private Eye.
Yes, sir.
Private eye,
Coming to
private
you
eye,
on a
private
screen
eye.
in 2024.
Yes,
Private
sir.
eye, yes.
Yeah, man. I'm super happy for you guys. I can't wait to see the next project you do and anything that you guys need from us on this end of the table, bro. It's all yours, man.
Yeah,
so.
man.
It's all appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Absolutely.
All right,
Thank you
y'all.
guys for having
Thanks
us.
for
Tyrell,
having us.
man,
Everybody,
thank you.
native. The native brand right here.
Tell 'em.
Get your Private Eye shirts.
Like
and
I
hoodies
said,
right
back
now.
room, 50% off. You could be the exclusive. You know what I'm saying? When the street merch is going up, come on over. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the boys
Private
will get you
eye.
right.
Let's go.
Snap
All
in.
right, man. That's a perfect way to end the
Yes,
podcast.
sir.
Tyrell, thanks for popping in and asking some questions, man. Love you. All right, everybody. We'll see you on Tuesday for another episode of the PowWow with your boy Jay Banks, AI.
Appreciate
the
you.
rest of the crew. Out of here.
Later, guys. Thank you. Shout out to Private Eye. Coming to a